My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my ranking of the Toxic Avenger franchise from worst to best. And this video will have spoilers, so there's your warning. But this franchise, it's something different. It is one of a kind, and even the movies I like here, I don't know if I could recommend them to anybody. Like, this franchise is so weird and fucked up and bizarre, and I really do like some of the movies here. But let's begin by talking about the worst one, and it really bums me out to say that it's the brand new 2025 The Toxic Avenger. Now, this movie screened at Fantastic Fest back in 2023, and I heard great things about this movie. I heard it was funny and gross and had great practical effects. It sounded like a movie right up my alley, but I am still shocked at just how abysmal this movie was. Like, it's trying so hard to be funny, but almost every joke falls completely flat. And I knew that was going to be the case when the movie begins and it just cuts to all these graphic images and he's just like, oh, didn't mean to skip ahead in the story. Let me tell you how I got there. And I was just like, the writing, the line delivery, it all felt off from the get-go, and it never improved. I never felt connected to anything happening, and it didn't know what it wanted to be. Like, is it trying to be this weird comedy? Is it trying to be this superhero origin story that's meant to be taken seriously? And I found the whole thing to be a disaster. The father-son relationship is terribly handled. The movie is annoying. And I fucking hate the fact that it's the Toxic Avenger unrated. So by having that unrated there, you have certain expectations, and this movie did not live up to them. It felt very tame. Like, sure, there's some blood, but I was shocked at just how underwhelming this movie was. And there's even a scene at the end where Kevin Bacon transforms into this beast, and the practical effects looked like shit, and they just skipped the transformation. So it felt really lazy. The one girl kind of transforms too, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's about to get really crazy and insane here, but it really doesn't. There's some CGI blood which just looks truly awful, and I was just miserable watching this movie from start to finish. Maybe a couple decent moments where you can see some personality, but those moments are too few and far between, and I just really despised this movie. The second worst movie of the franchise is Citizen Toxie, The Toxic Avenger Part 4. And I'll say this. The first 20 minutes of this movie with the diaper bandits is comedy gold. Like, I loved the beginning of this movie, but then it just takes a nosedive in quality. It's, the practical effects were definitely a step down, and when your movie is so crude and crass and vulgar and gross, it has to be funny. And when the jokes fall flat, it just, all those elements just make the movie seem cringy, and that's what happened here. I didn't really care for the story. There was too much nonsense going on, and look, I'm okay with nudity in movies, but I've got lines, and this movie definitely crossed them, so yeah, I really didn't care for this one. But the next three movies I'll be talking about, I do really like, and they're all a 7 out of 10. So they're almost on the same level. But the third best one is The Toxic Avenger Part 2. This movie is so aimless and so stupid and so absurd, and that's what I like about it. It's a really funny movie. I never knew what direction it was going to go in. The entire Big Mac storyline and the climax of this movie is just so funny, and it's like I said, I don't know if I could recommend this movie to anyone because of how stupid it is, but as a very stupid man, I enjoyed this very stupid movie. The second best movie of the franchise is The Toxic Avenger Part 3, The Last Temptation of Toxie. And this movie does get a little bit too stupid at times, even for me, but it's also really stupid in a way that I enjoy. This movie is just so... I do not know how to describe it. It is retarded. It just is, but it makes me laugh from beginning to end. The movie is just fully out there, and it also has the best practical effects of the franchise. There's a few images in the last act which are just sick, like in the best way possible. So, there's a real argument for this movie being the stupidest movie ever made, and sometimes it does go too far, but for the most part, I really enjoy this one. But my favorite movie of this franchise is the original, The Toxic Avenger, and I think it's just because I didn't know what to expect from these movies, and I just found it to be a breath of fresh air. I found it to be so unique and interesting and funny, and as much as I enjoy 2 and 3, watching this movie for the first time, it felt like a real discovery, and it managed to be really funny, and I do enjoy the practical effects, and I do like how graphic and how this movie really goes for it. Now, I also think this movie peaks in the first act. The last 2 acts are still fine, but I don't know, maybe it's just the surprise factor, but this movie is stupid and funny and just a fun time overall, so that's why it's number 1. But what's your ranking of the Toxic Avenger movies? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin, out.